explainer. Today, we're jumping into something that trips up a ton of people in tech, really mastering SQL. So we've put together a playbook, pulling from the best advice out there to take you all the way from the fundamentals to writing queries like a seasoned pro.
Just imagine hearing that in a job interview. Your stomach drops, right? It's a total nightmare scenario, but it happens all the time. And it comes from this huge gap between thinking you know SQL and actually being able to use it when the pressure is on.
So let's talk about this interview trap. What's really going on here? It's not just beginners, even super senior developers can fall right into it. And you know what the culprit usually is? Passive learning. Just watching one tutorial after another without actually getting your hands dirty. That just doesn't cut it when you're faced with a real problem.
Okay, so why does avoiding that interview train wreck matter so much? Because SQL isn't just some old language that's been hanging around. It is, without a doubt, a cornerstone of the entire modern tech world. And getting good at it is absolutely crucial for your career.
I mean, think about it. SQL is the common language, the lingua franca, for the three hottest, fastest growing jobs in tech: data engineer, data analyst, and data scientist. It's the one skill that ties them all together. If you want to plan the world of data, you have to speak the language. And the demand for these jobs, it's not just growing, it's exploding. The US Bureau of Labor Statistics is projecting a massive 35% jump in data-related occupations by 2032. That is huge. And what's sitting right at the heart of all that growth? You guessed it, SQL. And this chart, wow, this tells the whole story. Look at that. SQL is right up there shoulder to shoulder with Python as one of the most vital languages in the entire software industry. The message could not be clearer. No SQL, no seat at the data table. It's as simple as that. So how do you get good, and get good fast? Let's dive into the first part of our playbook. We're starting with a clear, structured plan that's designed to keep you from falling into that black hole of just watching random tutorials forever. Here it is. This is your roadmap. First, get the basics of how databases actually work. Then, focus on mastering what I call the core 10 commands. These will seriously cover about 80% of everything you'll ever do. SQL Bolt is great for this. Third, follow a guided, hands-on path like the one Mode offers. And finally, you gotta practice with real interview questions. And hey, remember, the goal here is progress, not perfection. Okay, let's say you've got the fundamentals down. You're feeling pretty good, but how do you level up from just knowing SQL to writing it like a true professional? Well, this next part of the playbook is for you. We're gonna break down 7 tricks that will transform your messy code into clean, efficient queries. Trick number 1, for the love of all that is holy, format your code. Seriously, you write a query once, but it's going to be read hundreds of times. Just look at the difference here. The professional side is so much cleaner. Keywords in uppercase, identifiers in lowercase, and consistent indentation. It makes life easier for everyone, especially your future self. Trick 2, only fetch what you actually need. Using select star is a really common rookie mistake. It's slow, it eats up resources, and it's fragile. Your code can literally break if the table changes. Be specific. Name the columns you want, and if you're just exploring, throw a limit on there to keep things fast and safe. Now, what's really interesting about this next trick is how it can tame even the most complex queries. Instead of getting lost in a deep, confusing maze of nested subqueries, you can use something called a common table expression, or a CTE. So what the heck is a CTE? It's basically like creating a temporary named table that only exists for your single query. It lets you break your logic down into smaller, much more manageable and readable chunks. And just look at the difference it makes. The nested mess on the left is a nightmare to try and read, let alone debug. But the CTE version on the right breaks the logic into these clean, reusable steps. It's far, far more maintainable. Trick number 4, always prefer an explicit join. I know sometimes you can get the same result with a join or a subquery, but you should pretty much always choose the join. Why? Because it's more readable, it clearly states the relationship between tables, and honestly, it often performs a lot better. For trick 5, let's talk about performance. You want to write index-friendly code. See how the query on the left wraps the order date column inside a function? That little move can prevent the database from using its index, forcing it to do a much slower scan of the whole table. Avoid it! Trick number 6 is all about using distinct properly. Its purpose is to find unique values, not to act as a band-aid to hide duplicate rows that are popping up because of a bad join. A novice might use it as a quick fix, but a pro goes back and fixes the root cause of the problem in the query itself. And the final trick, you have to know the difference between count column and count star. Count star counts all the rows, period. But count column only counts rows where that specific column is not null. It's a subtle difference, but mixing them up can lead to some really surprising and hard to find bugs.
So you've got the learning plan, you've got the pro tricks in your toolbox, but here's the crucial point. Just possessing the knowledge is the first step. The real goal, the thing that will actually get you noticed by employers, is to apply it.
The most important move you can make is to go from being someone who just watches tutorials to someone who actively builds things. Find some raw data that you find interesting, form a hypothesis, a question, and then use your SQL skills to find the answer. That is how you go from being a learner to a builder. And that's how you prove you have the skills that companies are so desperately looking for. So you have the playbook. The only real question left is, what story is your data?